Hey there, and I am back with part number 5 of all of the boutique labels that I collect. I'm going to be naming about 1 or 2, maybe 3 titles for each of these labels, depending on what they do, some of the sub-labels that they have. And we're going to just be getting the word out on some of these that a lot of people have never heard about. And let's get into it. The first one in this batch is one that I don't even know if they're putting out titles anymore, and not many people talk about them. That is Redemption Films. This is Jess Franco's The Awful Dr. Orloff. This is actually one of his better films. Jess Franco is one of those prolific directors who has put out a ton of movies. A lot of them are just basic trash. There are what is referred to as Franco files. A lot of people love Jess Franco with everything that he's done, and many of them are just bad movies, but The Awful Dr. Orloff is not one of those. It is a great movie. Okay, the next one is sort of an odd one to go into. This is going to look kind of trashy. I'm going to freely admit to that here. This is Retromedia, and they have a couple different kinds of releases. The one that they focus on the most are things like Evil Toons. The back of this says, Evil Toons plays out like Roger Rabbit meets the Evil Dead, and that's pretty on point. It is just like that. It is like the horror version of Roger Rabbit. But they also do things like this. They put out some softcore titles. These are actually 2 of the newer ones. This is Cosmic Calendar Girls from 2016 and Strippers from Another World from 2013. And that was Retromedia. Next up is sort of a big overarching label, and that is RLJE. They put out a few different kinds of things. One is, in the US at least, they handle a lot of the Shudder exclusives. So this is Gwen. RLJE is the only company that has been able to put out this Shudder exclusive in the US. They've done quite a lot of the films like The Furies, others like that. The other thing that they do is they do a lot of more mainstream type horror, like S. Craig Zoller. So far, I believe all of his films have come out through RLJE. And then they have done some 4K. The big thing for me is their 4K releases don't have any HDR when they would really do well with it. This is an example of that. This is a Joe Lynch film. This is Mayhem. This movie is a whole lot of fun. It's got Samara Weaving and Stephen Yeun, and it is something that I think very much could have benefited from that HDR. Alright, the next one is a company that mostly people have seen as a retailer online that they've gone to for other purchases for companies like Scorpion releasing that we're actually about to talk about. But they've done a few releases of their own, and one of them is the movie Haunt. This is from Ronin Flix, and this movie I loved, and for a while after it was released digitally, it seemed like it was not going to get any release, and then they released this beautiful set that came with this, and some enamel pins, and a couple posters, I believe. Really nice set. They also put out Richard Stanley's Hardware. That's a highly sought after title from Ronin Flix. Next is the aforementioned Scorpion releasing, and they put out a wide variety of titles. One of the ones that they've put out that I used to love is the movie Baxter, and this is a sociopathic bull terrier in this movie, and it is a lot of fun. They put out a lot of 80s comedies. They put out a lot of older horror movies. They put out a lot of Nashi titles. They have done a lot of Argento titles in the US, like Opera. This is another one of the highly sought-after titles that was exclusive to Ronin Flix. I love this damn movie. If you can find this for inexpensive, this movie is so great. They also put out a lot of Fulci titles. This is The Psychic. They also did Murder Rock, a lot of stuff like that. Ronin Flix carries a whole lot of Scorpion releasing, and Kino Lorber does as well. You'll find them on other sites too, like Diabolic, Grindhouse, etc. Okay, the next one is a big one for me. Obviously, you've seen a lot of my old videos, and I love Scream Factory. And they have just a huge variety of fairly mainstream titles in the horror community that are usually either a title that's fairly well known or at least have an actor that's pretty well known. They're a lot less obscure than some of the titles that these other labels put out. One thing that they've done is they've done most of the John Carpenter titles. So this is In the Mouth of Madness, and I think this is just one of his most underrated titles. I would love to see this on a 4K UHD disc eventually. One of my favorites from him. I saw that one live in a theater a couple years ago, and it was just so great to see it on the big screen. Scream Factory also does really well with box sets. This is a recent release, The Omen. This is a full franchise box set, I guess you can call it. They have first 3 movies, the TV movie, and the remake on here. And it is the best set that we will probably ever get for The Omen. I loved this franchise growing up. I saw this way too young, probably 9 or 10 years old, and just have always loved it. Okay, this next company is the exact type of company that the series was made for. This is from a company called Scream Team Releasing. They have put out a lot of movies that people have heard of tangentially, something like The Barn or 1031, that was a big one. But I'm going to highlight this one called Murder Made Easy. Without giving too much of a spoiler, I will say that this has a similar style to April Fool's Day. Fun movie. They put out quite a lot of titles, usually about 5 or 6 a year or so. And if you order direct from their website, you can get a lot of them autographed like this one is. You never know when some of these people might blow up. They do include some goodies with some of their releases. This one, let me see. This is, I believe, an invitation to the dinner party from the movie, from the characters in the movie. Just a cool little prop to have. Scream Team Releasing mostly does indie movies. They are fairly low budget, but they're good. They're high quality, they're well done, they're good movies. I would certainly suggest, if you've not heard of Scream Team Releasing, give them the time of day. The next company is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I've had a few of their releases for a few years, and then over the last year and a half or so, I really just started to bulk up on their limited editions. One of the first releases I got from them was Anna and the Apocalypse. This is from Second Sight Films from the UK. This is a zombie musical that is just a whole lot of fun. It is not great, but the music works, and it works well. And this release is very well done. This release also comes with a booklet, and it has lyrics in it to all of the tracks so that you can sing along. Really nicely done. So, as I just alluded to, Second Sight is really getting big with their limited edition releases, and the next one is Under the Shadow. This is from Second Sight, and this is a movie set in 1988 Tehran, and it is a really spiritual movie, really well done, some very creepy moments, a couple scares that actually got to me, which is pretty rare nowadays. Their releases are great, just like some of the others that I've shared from other companies. They've got the Blu-ray case, they've got a poster, and these are fairly high quality compared to other companies' posters, and it is nicely sized. And their big limited edition releases also come with these super nice booklets, and these are not short. I mean, this is probably 40 plus pages long, and it's super high quality, as you can see. But Second Sight is killing it. They are obviously well known for putting out Dawn of the Dead on 4K in the UK. Absolutely incredible release. That one has gotten plenty of attention, so I didn't feel that I needed to highlight it. Plus, can't order that to the US, so a lot of people don't have that one. I do have it because I bought it from a US retailer, but that is Under the Shadow from Second Sight. And the last one we're going to talk about today is Severin Films and their smaller labels that they have with them. So they have Intervision pictures that they have for their shot on video, very low budget titles that they're putting out. This is a DVD of Dreamstalker and Death by Love. This is one that Dreamstalker, in my opinion, is one of the better Intervision titles that have been released. They have put out a couple of Blu-rays on this line, but most of them are DVD, mostly like Joe D'Amato titles, stuff like that. One of their regular Blu-ray releases that I would suggest that I've been heralding for a long time is The Boys Next Door. This has Charlie Sheen and Maxwell Caulfield. Just really surprising movie. This it kind of comes out of nowhere and hits you pretty good. It is a all-in-one night movie, I believe. It's just a brutal movie in a way that you're not ready for when you're watching it. Took me by storm the first time I saw it. The next one, a lot of people seem to hate that have seen this movie, but I, for one, loved it, and I think a lot more eyes on this movie could do very well for it because it is super artistic and does deserve it. The biggest thing about this movie is the actual physical set pieces are stupendous. They look amazing. Watching this movie once is not enough, and I would definitely suggest if you've seen it and you didn't like it, give it another watch and understand from the ending what the actual movie was and what the character was going through as he was going through this movie. But that is the movie Saint Bernard. This is a movie about a gentleman that is pulling around a head, literally, from a dead Saint Bernard, and he is met with all kinds of these odd situations to face and try to come out of. It's hard to explain this movie without giving away the ending. I'm just going to say, if you've not seen it and not picked it up, I would suggest getting Saint Bernard. It's a rather good one. And Severin Films has also just jumped out of the gate over the last couple of years with these incredible box sets. And you can't get this anymore, obviously, but this is the Al Adamson box set. This is the entire filmography directed by Al Adamson, who has done so much work for the exploitation genre in general. This is 32 full-length movies on 14 discs. Really great collection. The box is very nice. Comes with a really nice, super long and really detailed book. Comes with a Severin in-house produced doc called Blood and Flesh. You can see the poster for it there. And this thing it's just a wonderful set. You can see all of the discs are in the pages here. Really nicely done. And the biggest thing is that it's his entire filmography. This is something that came out of nowhere and sold out quickly because it's such a great set. There are very few sets that are showing up like this. They also did the Andy Milligan set, which is similar to this. It is not quite a full filmography, but it is a full, we'll say, surviving filmography. Anything that he directed that is currently able to be found and has masters for is in that box set, but Milligan did direct some before what came in that box set that are gone. We believe they were damaged in a flood, I believe, something like that. Anyways, from what I hear, Severin is working on some other box sets. They have the Emmanuel box set coming out soon, and they are killing it. I think the last year from Severin has been the best year of releases they've ever had. I do wish that they could get some other things under control, like their website, and maybe their communication could be a little bit better, but I love their product, and I'll continue to support them. And that is it for video number 5 in this series. I think we have one, maybe 2 more of these left to go. Probably only one, though. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching with me. Give it a thumbs up down below if you could. That helps a lot more than you think. And other than that, I'm just happy to be going on this journey with you and sharing all of the boutique labels that I collect and that I love and that I hope more people will get their hands on in the coming years. So, from one collector to all of you, have a good night.